Hello everyone, Darren from DrayTek Australia and New Zealand, and welcome to Iland Technology's presentation on DrayTek VigorACS 3. This is the third part of our webinar series about VigorACS 3 to show you how it works and what it can do, as well as guiding you through how to successfully install and configure various components in it so you can easily manage your customer networks. In today's presentation, we'll look at user management. We'll start by looking at how to manage a network by creating users, assigning them roles, and placing them into groups. We'll also briefly look at the other topics listed here, which appear in the same menu tree in ACS3 and are also related to user management. So let's begin with an overview of user management and what we can do with it. In VigorACS 3, a user can manage CPE devices at multiple locations through the ACS server. CPE devices, that's customer premises equipment, usually refers to routers but can also include switches and APs. The level of access and privileges a user can have depends on their login type. Each user gets a unique username and password, as well as a privilege level which is related to their assigned role. That role can be system administrator, group administrator, operator, and a couple of others which we'll look at shortly. In this diagram, we have the 6 different roles that can be assigned to a user. At the top of the pyramid, we have the system administrator, which has the highest authority and has complete control. Below that, we have group administrator, who can manage an assigned network group and is able to create users below this role except for the auditor level. Next, we have the administrator role. An administrator can do most of the same things that the group administrator can do, but can't create users or perform certain tasks, such as configure server functions. Below this, we have commissioning. A user with this authority can add a new network and view SD-wan settings. The operator role can view and monitor the network as well as make some minor changes for some functions. The view-only operator has the lowest authority and can only view the network. They can't make any changes. Right down the bottom, we have auditor. This role can only be created by the system administrator, and its function is to view deleted log information for auditing purposes. Here we have the menu options that the system administrator and group administrator will see. Only a system administrator and group administrator can create users. Looking at the menu options on the left, a system administrator can create a system administrator, group administrator, commissioning, operator, view-only operator, and auditor, and they can create a network in a multi-tenant installation and assign a group administrator to manage that network. A group administrator has less privileges and can create an administrator, commissioning, operator, and view-only operator, but they can't configure group management, network group, external authentication server, function management, or use the Wholesale Wizard. There's a complete list of user roles and privileges in Knowledge Base Article 5965. I've just shown a portion of it here, but it's worthwhile checking it out to get the full details. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. The system administrator is able to set up users along with the username and password, as well as assigning a role for each user. Other parameters that can be specified are email notifications along with an email address. SMS notification can also be selected along with a phone number to use. A description can also be added for the user if required. To add a user, you just need to click on the plus add tab at the top of the menu page. Once the users are added, you'll see a summary page similar to this, which shows the users along with the role assignment as well as other settings. Here we have some more detail when adding a user profile. For the role setting, you can select any role from the pull-down menu. The selection available will depend on who is adding users. For a group administrator, they will only see a partial list of roles to assign. The other pull-down list is for the OOBE or OOBE feature. This is a recent addition to ACS 3 as an abbreviation for out-of-the-box experience for a new user's first-time login. I'll go into more detail about what that is shortly, but we'll look at how we can enable it and disable it first. You'll find it under the user batch settings, and it allows assigning the out-of-the-box settings for a number of users simultaneously rather than doing it individually for each user. To use it, just click on it and that will bring up another menu. Here we can select users from the pull-down list that we want this setting to apply to, then select which settings to use, such as getting the new user to change their password the first time they log into the server. There's also an option on this page to disable auto logout. If you need to remove a user from the server, select the username from the list and then click on the delete button. Okay, let's take a look at what the OOBE or out-of-the-box experience is. So basically the OOBE feature displays a welcome for a new user to help them to set up their account, and that'll be based on what we selected for them in the user batch settings menu. When the new user first logs into the ACS3 server, they'll be greeted with a welcome screen showing the options they can configure. That includes setting a new password, default logout behavior, two-factor authentication, and selecting the website theme. In this demo, I haven't selected to read the agreements and verify the email address. So we now create a new password for the account and then click Next to move to the next step. Here we select the logout option we want and move to the next step. Two-factor authentication can be set up here if you want to use it. You see here if I enable it, it shows a QR code which a phone can scan using the Google Authenticator app, or you can manually enter the key on the right there. That will then generate a PIN which you enter into the verification code field down the bottom. Then save that into an account in the app for future logins. Two-factor authentication can also be set up later through the user profile setting, which I'll go through shortly, so we can leave that disabled. We get a warning message asking us if we're sure. Yes, we are. And the final option is to set the web page theme, which can be auto, light, or dark. And next. And once we click on Done, the OOBE is completed and we're greeted with the ACS3 dashboard. Okay. So the other way to set up two-factor authentication is covered in Knowledge Base Article 5974 at the link shown here. For this method, click on the Account Center at the top right of the ACS3 page. In the pull-down menu, select the two-factor authentication option. Next, turn on two-factor authentication. You'll need to download and install the Google Authenticator app, which is available for both Android and Apple devices. Once you have the app installed on your device, scan the barcode or manually enter the secret key. Click the Save button to verify the code which was generated from the app. To test that it has been set up correctly, log out of ACS3 and log in again using two-factor authentication. Enter the verification code and you should log in OK. A point to note is that the verification code changes periodically, which is usually every few minutes, so you may need to refresh to get the current code. Also ensure that the time and date on both the ACS3 server and your device are correct, as it uses this to generate the verification code. Now that we've looked at how to set up users, let's take a deeper look at group management. With group management, a group administrator can manage a group of users who can have different roles and privilege levels to manage an assigned network. The creation of groups is done by the system administrator who has the highest privilege level. They can add or delete a user group or check information for a user group. This is done in the User Group Management menu. With VigorACS 3, there's a default group named Root Group. This group has the highest privilege level. The system administrator can create other user groups below this to suit requirements. Menu options within the settings in group management are Add, to add a new user group, Delete, to remove a user group. Just keep in mind that you will need to check that the group is empty by clicking on the Management tab before deleting a user group. Export. Clicking on Export will open a dialog box with the SQL syntax to export the settings. Delete with Wholesale, that will delete the user group regardless of any existing users within the group. So to add a user group, click on the Add menu option. That will bring up a menu where you can enter the group name and how many nodes the group can manage. Using this feature is handy for a service provider who purchases a license key to manage hundreds of nodes. They can then allocate a number of nodes to each customer so they can manage their own networks without the need to maintain the hardware or purchase the software. Each user group cannot see or modify other user groups. The service provider maintains management and can provide this as a service and benefit from the additional income. Other parameters that can be selected are Enable CPE Notify, Mail Server, SNMP Server, and expiry date to match the agreement with the customer. Clicking on the Management option allows you to assign users to each user group. In the example shown here, we selected a number of users from the pull-down list that appears after clicking in the User Box field, and then added them to the Sydney user group. Okay, now that we've looked at how to set up users and assign them to user groups, let's take a look at some other settings. In the network group setting, you can assign a user group to manage devices within a particular network. Allocating CPE devices to a network group was covered in our previous webinar if you wish to learn more about that. In the example shown here, we assigned the Sydney user group to manage the Sydney network. However, that's all they will have access to. They won't be able to manage or view devices in other network groups. Next on the list, we have External Authentication Server. This is where we specify the authentication parameters for a particular role within a user group. We can select either Active Directory or LDAP, Radius or TAC ACS+. After the settings are completed, the details will appear in the table at the bottom of the page as shown here. The mail server settings can be customized for a user group to allow users in the group to receive notifications. The type of alarms can be selected from the list, which range from critical to normal. For example, if you only wanted someone to receive critical alarms, then you'd leave all the others deselected. There's also a send test email link at the top so you can test to make sure it works. The function management setting allows you to specify the privilege level for each user role. There are a number of options that can be selected. These include Show Unknown Device, Wireless is Writable, Show About Menu, Show Version Number, Show Maps, and Can Delete Logs. For some user roles, the Can Delete Logs option is not available. To enable or disable each of these settings, you just need to move the toggle switch. The Wholesale Wizard provides a step-by-step way to quickly create a user group, and a network. The first step is to create the user, then you'll be prompted to create the user group, followed by the network. When completed, you'll see a summary page with all the settings as shown here. The final step is to click on the Finish button to save the settings, and you're done. The SMS Server option is used to configure ACS3 to send alarm notifications via SMS. However, in the current version of ACS3, there's no option to select an Australian SMS provider from the pull-down list. There is a wish request for DrayTek R&D to consider using the LTE router SMS gateway as an option to be used here. The final menu item for user configuration is the SNMP Server. This can be used to send alarm notifications for the selected user group. The alarm level can be selected and it ranges from critical down to normal. This is the end of the presentation today. In summary, we went through user management in VigorACS 3 where we looked at the different options available to create and manage users. This included how to create users, assign them a role, place them into a group, and manage a network. We also looked at some other options available in the user menu in ACS 3, which included External Authentication Server, Mail Server, Function Management, Wholesale Wizard, SMS Server, and SNMP Server. In our next webinar, we'll be looking at monitoring using ACS 3, and I hope you'll join us for that one. Okay, that's all for now, but please stay tuned. We'll be answering questions in the live chat on the right of your screen for the next 5 minutes. For more information about DrayTek products, please check out our website at www.draytek.com.au or send us an email to sales@draytek.com.au or give us a call on 02 9838 8899. Don't forget to like and subscribe below, and if you'd like a notification anytime we put up a new video, please give the bell a click too. Thanks and bye for now.